welcome to AEW Discussion. I'm your host and AEW enthusiast, Dougie Doug. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing Dynamite, October 4th, 2023 edition. And this edition of Dynamite was the 4-year anniversary of AEW, so congrats to them on 4 years. And this past weekend on Sunday, AEW had its first Wrestle Dream pay-per-view, and what a success that pay-per-view was. And I think the most talked about moment from that pay-per-view was the debut of Adam Copeland. He would make an appearance on this episode of Dynamite to close out the show. And with that, we're going to get right into the action, starting with a promo from Bullet Club Gold. So AEW World Champion MJF and whatever he finds himself involved in, well, generally it's the best thing on the show. And this segment here was no exception, and it was also a segment that advanced his feud with the Switchblade over the top prize in the company. What started as a back and forth between MJF, Juice Robinson, and the Guns ended with a sneak attack by White that left MJF laying. White then would issue a challenge for the world title. MJF accepted, and AEW now has seemingly the main event for full year set. This was a short and simple segment that continued MJF's run as the top good guy in AEW and made the build to full gear more interesting and more fun. Tag team action: Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. And Jericho and Omega won the battle here, but they have not won the war against the Don Callis family. This was a good tag team match, but it was not a good ending for Jericho and Omega as they were laid out by Powerhouse Hobbs, who has seemingly joined the Don Callis family. The Don Callis family would also lay out the Don Callis family laid out Jericho and Omega and stood tall to close the segment. That moved this feud forward and created questions about how Omega and Jericho can adequately combat a guy who has multiple young stars paired with him. If the feud is booked as strongly as this was, and the matches continue to be as good as this one was, there will be plenty to like about this feud, and it should make for some engaging and entertaining television. And then the show concludes with a promo from Adam Copeland, and you could feel the excitement from him as he routed off some of the matches that he could have. Unfortunately, he did not name Bryan Danielson. That one should have been first on his list. And then after that, he called out Christian Cage, who joined him in the ring. Listen to Copeland's pitch about teaming together one last time, and then Cage told him kindly to do something unsavory with himself or something like that. He then introduced Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne at the top of the ramp, who would join Cage in staring down Copeland in the show. This was a strong segment that built on the excitement of Copeland's debut, laid out the story at play, built on the established history between him and Cage, and informed the fans that the comeback tour from Edge and Christian is not happening anytime soon, or I guess the reunion between the two. Copeland was great in this segment, a newcomer full of energy and happy to be there. Cage, the same villain he has always been. The idea of them matching up at this point in their careers may be not exciting to some, but for those who are familiar with Edge and Christian's work, well, the idea that they may create some more magic in AEW against a team like FTR is appealing, and this was a solid teaser of what is to come between Copeland and Cage, so it should make for a fun program between the two, but afterward you gotta reunite them. So in conclusion, there was a lot to like about this episode of Dynamite. The segment between Copeland and Cage at the close of the show was great, as was the segment with MJF and Jay White, though in some superb character work from Tony Storm, as well as a surprise and Powerhouse Hobbs joining the Don Callis family. And you have an episode that had a little bit of everything for everyone. The match between Ray Phoenix and Matt Jackson, well, it was essentially spot foo. That's not my term, I heard that one thrown out there before, and I don't know, that match didn't really hit. And the Acclaim as Trios champion, they don't really have a hot streak going on right now. They kind of have a cold streak. But those are just minor complaints about a 2-hour show that overall more good than bad. And with that, that will conclude this episode of AEW Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.